This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
This was kind of a weird week in the AI world. That's because even though there wasn't maybe one dominating AI news story like there usually is, there were dozens, and I kid you not, dozens of noteworthy AI advancements, updates, and controversies. Honestly, in a week I haven't seen like this in a very long time. I mean, we have much smarter TVs now powered by AI. You can chat with Alexa online. I got to spell it out in case you're watching. I mean, ChatGPT got into healthcare in two very big ways. NVIDIA changed what's possible with AI, and there's llama drama at Meta, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. All right, so we're going to be going over all of the AI news that matters in today's show. Welcome to Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? If you're new here, my name's Jordan, and this is Everyday AI. This is your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday business leaders like you and me not just keep up with all the AI advancements, but cut away the fluff, cut away the marketing, and focus on what really matters, and that's growing our companies and our careers. So if that's what you're trying to do, awesome. It starts here with the daily live stream, podcast, and free daily newsletter. So if you haven't already, make sure to go to our website at youreverydayai.com, sign up for the free daily newsletter. We're going to be recapping the highlights from today's show and a whole lot more. Also, in today's newsletter, if you didn't already know, right, we've been quietly rolling this out to a select few. So we did launch our new and updated Prime Prompt Polished ChatGPT course. It's been taken by more than 15,000 people previously. So we just launched the brand new version in our Inner Circle community. So if you want early access, make sure to go check out today's newsletter. I'm going to tell you how to do it. All right, enough chit chat. Let's get into the AI news that matters for the week. Actually, I lied. I can chit chat a little more. Live stream audience, what's up? What's good to see everyone. Douglas joining from Indianapolis. Brian saying good morning. Heidi from Houston. Joe joining from Fort Lauderdale. I got to give the live stream people more shout outs a little bit more here. So thank you all for joining us. Yeah, Marie saying congrats to the Chicago Bears. Yeah, if you're on the live stream or watching the video version, I had to do the cheeky thing. I'm from Chicago. I had to wear my Bears holiday sweater, right? Because the Bears beat the Packers. I don't know. Everyone else, did your NFL team win or lose? I don't do it a lot, right? But pretty big deal for the Bears to beat the Packers in the playoffs. So I had to do the cheesy thing. Sorry. All right. Actual AI news. Let's go. So Google announced a major expansion of shopping tools into its Gemini chatbot, aiming to let users search for products and complete purchases without even leaving the chat. So this was actually kind of some late breaking news from the National Retail Federation's annual convention in New York, a major retail industry event drawing about 40,000 attendees. So according to reports, Google is partnering with some major retailers to get this kicked off, including Walmart, Shopify, Wayfair, and other retailers to turn Gemini into both a shopping assistant and a virtual merchant. So there is a new instant checkout feature that will allow customers to buy items directly inside the Gemini chat using payment methods linked to their Google accounts, with PayPal support expected to be added soon. Walmart said customers who link their Google and Walmart accounts will receive product recommendations based on past purchases, and items bought through Gemini can be added to existing Walmart or Sam's Club online carts. Google said the AI shopping features will initially be available only to U.S. users, with international expansion planned in the coming months. So the move puts Google in direct competition with OpenAI and Amazon, as those companies have rolled out similar features, although on a very limited scale, as everyone's trying to race to bring agentic checkout and agentic shopping to large language models. So OpenAI and Walmart announced a similar partnership in October, allowing ChatGPT users to instantly buy most Walmart products. However, at least within ChatGPT, I don't think that OpenAI has really highlighted this feature. It's actually, I wouldn't say hidden, but you have to really be looking for it to trigger this. Where I think, I mean, we'll see. But my thought is with Google, I mean, they're going to be pushing this front and center. This is what they've been doing for a decade plus, at least, heavily winning kind of the online top of funnel, search for shopping. So this one to me is another signal, right? I don't know. I think the internet's going to die, right? Think of all the things that we're doing over and over in every single big AI company, right? OpenAI, Anthropic, Copilot, Google. Everyone is bringing all of those day-to-day activities that we use the internet for into chatbots, right? Things like connectors and apps, right? I find myself more and more each day spending less time on the internet and more time doing things I used to do online in actual chatbots. So this big announcement from Google, the latest indicator that, I think, internet's going to die in some way, shape, or form, right? How we've been using the internet for decades. It's all moving into large language models, which is why I've been pushing the concept of AI operating systems for multiple years, y'all. That's why you got to listen to keep up and stay ahead. All right. Our next, Dr. Rasafas says here, if you know, you know. Yeah, we keep you ahead. All right. Big news from NVIDIA at CES. So NVIDIA founder and CEO Jensen Huang kicked off CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, with a keynote and a series of announcements, really kicking off NVIDIA's next wave of AI computing. So Huang announced the Rubin platform, NVIDIA's first extreme code-signed 6-chip AI platform, now in full production and promising to cut AI token generation costs by 90% compared to previous platforms. And that piece is huge because essentially, if you use AI, there's a high likelihood, unless you're using Google Gemini, that in some way, shape, or form, it is powered by NVIDIA's chips. So the Rubin platform and promise to cut token generation by 90% could be pretty big news in terms of what's possible and also costs that big AI frontier labs have to pay on the front end. So the Rubin platform features tightly integrated GPUs, CPUs, networking, storage, and software all together designed to eliminate bottlenecks and accelerate AI development across industries. Aside from the chips, maybe one of the biggest announcements from NVIDIA is, well, they're kind of positioning themselves to be a Tesla competitor, maybe. That's because Huang also introduced Alphamaya, an open reasoning model family aimed at advanced autonomous vehicle technology, including the first open reasoning vision language action model for self-driving cars. So that one in and of itself could be the biggest story of the week if it does pan out, right? When we talk about Tesla and their autonomous driving, yes, it's finally here in certain areas, but this is one of those things that we've been hearing about for, I don't know, at least 10 years, and it's taken them that long to roll it out. So NVIDIA ships fast. They move fast. They push the speed of AI. So if you are a fan of kind of autonomous driving, Alphamaya is a huge announcement. So NVIDIA's other open AI models they announced train on its own supercomputers, span across 6 different domains. That's healthcare, climate science, robotics, embodied intelligence, reasoning, and autonomous driving. So really, obviously, NVIDIA putting AI absolutely everywhere they can. The company also showcased live DGX Spark, their desktop AI supercomputer, demonstrating personalized AI agents running locally and interacting physically through robots. So I was actually at it was at their NVIDIA CES show in March where they announced the DGX Spark, and then they did a live demo, which is really cool, right? A legit supercomputer in the DGX Spark that used to take, I don't know, if you looked 10 years ago, would have taken an entire data center to get that level of compute. Now it's, a small little think of it like a giant hockey puck, right? The level of compute that you have in something like a DGX Spark is absolutely bonkers. Wang also revealed the first passenger car featuring the Alphamaya technology that will hit the US this year in the Mercedes-Benz CLA, following its 5-star safety rating in Europe. So yeah, there was a whole lot more, obviously, that NVIDIA announced at CES, and more on CES announcement in a bit. Yeah, Marie said, watch out, Elon. Jensen is in the fast lane. Absolutely, right? And everything, if you don't know a lot about NVIDIA and you're like, okay, Jordan, how could NVIDIA like compete with Tesla, right? If Tesla's been doing this for a decade and Tesla has millions of cars out on the road that are actively trading, how can a company like NVIDIA? Well, NVIDIA has actually powered the autonomous vehicle industry also for a decade. People just don't really know about this, right? Their chips, their software, it's all been in there. So this is just their first official foray, right? Slapping, a new brand name on the Alphamaya, right? Luckily, I get to talk to really smart people at NVIDIA all the time. We have a partnership going back with them for a couple of years, and I've talked to some of their leaders on the autonomous vehicle side. So they've been doing a ton in this space for a decade plus. I don't think people just know. So, I saw a lot of chatter online. People are like, oh, Alphamaya is not going to do anything. This is Tesla and some of the other companies. And I'm like, no, this is big, right? Like automatically, I think this makes NVIDIA a top 3 name in the autonomous vehicle space, right? Especially with it going open source. All right.
Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too, just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI.
Surprising update here. OpenAI has launched a new ChatGPT health product in the US, allowing users to share medical records and app data for personalized health advice. So more than 230 million people have already asked, apparently, ChatGPT health and well-being questions weekly, making the launch especially significant. So yeah, OpenAI came out with a report that said 230 million people were already talking with ChatGPT about health on a weekly basis. So they are essentially spinning off a new product or a new version of ChatGPT that is targeted specifically for that. So ChatGPT Health lets users upload data from apps like Apple Health, Peloton, and MyFitnessPal, as well as your personal medical records to receive tailored responses. So OpenAI says conversations in ChatGPT Health are stored separately from your other chats and will not be used to train its models. Even if you're on a free plan, and let's say that even you have that feature toggled on for your normal ChatGPT account, by default, OpenAI is saying that they will not train on ChatGPT Health data. So privacy advocates, including those from the Center for Democracy and Technology, warn that health data is highly sensitive and requires airtight safeguards because, yeah, there's obviously been a decent amount of outcry about this new offering from OpenAI and a lot of concerns that have been raised about firms collecting, sharing, and using health data, especially since US companies set their own data rules and may not be bound by strict privacy protections. So, ChatGPT Health is currently only available to a small group of early users in the US, as it launched with a wait list that's open for others interested in joining. The feature has obviously not launched in a lot of other countries throughout the world that have stricter privacy and data rules, as it may not be totally allowed to run yet. So, as an example, in the UK, Switzerland, in the European Economic Area, yeah, just because of stricter data protection regulations, not sure if this will launch in those areas or when. So, OpenAI highlights enhanced privacy measures for ChatGPT Health. And also, in kind of related news, like literally a day after this, Anthropic also launched some healthcare record features, all right, intensifying their healthcare competition with OpenAI. So, like I said, this is a separate, technically a completely separate product from OpenAI. So it's not like you're going to be in ChatGPT and use this, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to scroll down and, click this health button. It is a separate offering altogether. So I believe you will be able to still use your same account, but lives in two separate silos, so to speak. So I did sign up for the wait list. For me, if you listen to the show at all, I'm always like, here you go, big company. Take all my data. I don't care. I know I'm in the minority there. I know many of you probably aren't going to use this. Let me know in the live stream, Spotify comments, whatever. Let me know if you're going to use this or not, or if we should pay attention to it more as it does become more readily available. All right. In very related news, yeah, OpenAI doubled down on healthcare this week. That's because they announced ChatGPT for healthcare. So this is on the other side. So ChatGPT Health is for, consumers. It's for all of us individuals, but OpenAI also announced a version of this for healthcare companies. So OpenAI has launched a new suite of AI tools designed for healthcare enterprises aimed at improving care quality and efficiency. So the major announcement is ChatGPT for healthcare, a dedicated workspace powered by the latest GPT-5 family of models and tested by doctors in real-world clinical scenarios. Early adopters of the tool include major hospitals like Boston Children's Hospitals, Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, Stanford Medicine Children's Health, and several others. So the platform is built for researchers, clinicians, and administrators, offering integration with enterprise tools such as Microsoft SharePoint and templates for common clinical documentation tasks like discharge summaries and patient instructions. So ChatGPT for healthcare claims to draw on millions of peer-reviewed studies and clinical guidelines, provided cited responses to medical queries, but the company has not detailed safeguards against AI-generated errors or hallucinated sources. So patient data and protected health information remain under the healthcare organization's control, with options for data residency, audit logs, customer managed encryption keys, and HIPAA-compliant business associate agreements. So OpenAI says content shared with ChatGPT for healthcare is also not used to train its models, addressing privacy and data security concerns. The company has also released an API for healthcare, which is pretty big news, allowing developers worldwide to embed the latest AI models, including the very impressive GPT-5 directly into healthcare apps and workflows, with eligible customers able to apply for HIPAA-compliant agreements. OpenAI reports that over 260 from 60 countries have evaluated the GPT-5 model's performance in more than 600,000 clinical outputs across 30 focus areas. No surprise here, right? I don't think people believed me 2 years ago when some of the early studies came out, blind studies that showed patients preferred ChatGPT responses to doctors, at least when it came to bedside manner. Right? Because people are always like, oh, AI chatbots are fun and cute, but, they're not empathetic, right? So literally studies have shown that AI models are more empathetic than doctors. Right. It's probably also because here in the US, doctors are extremely overworked, right? Let's start there. The last thing you probably want is, a surgeon that's at the tail end of their, 14-hour shift. Right. So I think that this is a very complex issue, but I've been saying this for years. I'm like, it's going to be very common for doctors to use ChatGPT, and I would want them to, right? And people are always like, "Oh no, absolutely not. That's why you go see a human doctor," right? This has been, I don't know about you, this has been happening to me for years, right? Maybe this is as the internet's gotten better. I don't know, but I remember 5+ years ago that I would be sitting in a doctor's office and my doctor is just Googling things, right? Maybe I don't know, maybe I needed to go to a different doctor, right? But I mean, this has been happening for a very long time. So people are always like, oh, no, ChatGPT is not going to be in healthcare. And I'm like, of course it is. And I think that most people, if you want high quality care, you want your healthcare provider to be using ChatGPT in real time, or Gemini in real time, or Claude in real time, or Copilot in real time, or whatever it is. You just hope that they're using the right model and they've gone through our free prime prompt polish course, right? I had to get that in there because there's always, there's a couple of viral instances that, ChatGPT using doctors has gone, or sorry, doctors using ChatGPT has gone viral on the internet, right? Someone taking photos and yeah, it spreads like wildfire. But, I'd always zoom in and be like, yeah, that doctor is using the free plan, right? Or, this doctor's not using the right model. They're not using a thinking model. You don't want that. So yes, this is obviously exciting for what's possible and hopefully providing better care for millions of the people around the world. However, this does highlight just how important it is for everyone, regardless of what you do, to understand how large language models work. And I am continually flabbergasted at how no one understands large language models, even though we've been using them almost daily now for 3-4+ years. Right. It is absolutely bonkers to me that people still think large language models are a deterministic search engine and no one knows, oh, here, you got to do these 3 things before you get started or else you're kind of screwed. Right. That's why you should go take our free prime prompt polish course. All right. All right. Speaking of AI, that is probably going to impact maybe billions of people. So, Google has introduced a new AI inbox preview for Gmail, which replaces the traditional list of emails with AI generated to dos and topics based on the content of your email. So, the feature, which I saw and I'm like, let's go. This is amazing. Huge bummer. It's only in early testing right now and is only available to select trusted testers with no public release date yet. Yes, I think everyone saw this from Google and everyone lost their minds and is like, oh my gosh, this is literally the only thing everyone's wanted from AI for years. And then it's like, oh man, it's trusted testers only, right? Slow rollout. However, it looks absolutely amazing. This is what I've been, having a lot of my agents and agentic models do for me anyways, right? With scheduled runs. So I'm excited to have this by default when it does roll out. So AI Inbox is designed to help users manage emails by summarizing messages into actionable items and topics to track, linking directly to relevant emails for quick access. So in its current form, AI Inbox only works with consumer Gmail accounts, not workspace or business accounts, limiting its usefulness for professionals with high email volumes. All right. Are you guys ready for a little trick on this? I actually had a conversation that we're going to debut probably this week or next week with the CEO of a very, very large company. And we were chatting about this after the fact, right? How there's all these great AI features, but sometimes, Google rolls them out to personal or, consumer Gmail accounts and not workspace accounts. You want to know the hack here? But this is only if you're a small business owner, probably because you shouldn't be doing this for your company. But one thing I do around this, right? I forward all of my work email to my personal email. I filter it and put it in a certain folder, right? So then I can use all these features that are sometimes rolled out to personal Gmails first. So yeah, I'm excited to get AI Inbox. I don't have it yet. Hopefully I'll get it soon. So the AI system can surface archived conversations and older emails, sometimes highlighting topics that user may not consider urgent or relevant. So yeah, some early testers have showed that this is extremely promising, but sometimes the feature pulls up older emails that may not be relevant anymore, although it might be relevant to what someone is working on at the time. For organized users who already keep their inbox tidy and act quickly on emails, the AI-generated summaries may feel cluttered or unnecessary, requiring more scrolling and attention than their current system. This is one of those other reasons, FYI. I feel like in general, email, there's two very different types of people. There's people who are like AI, inbox zero, and either, delete or archive everything. And then there's people that never delete a single thing. I'm obviously the latter. I never delete a single thing, right? I don't archive a single thing. And I'm glad I didn't, because a lot of the connectors that we use today, right? So Claude has a great connector to Gmail and Outlook. Obviously, ChatGPT has great connectors, or now apps, to Gmail and Outlook, right? Because if you archive all those emails or delete them, or if you're inbox zero and you really want to use like an AI tool to get historical insights and trends from your emails, right? If you archive them, they can't find them in most cases because they can only select the inbox and certain folders. So it's one of those times where, maybe not being an inbox zero person might pay off if you do so much of your day-to-day work inside your inbox. So I'm excited about this one, but big bummer that the new AI inbox is for trusted testers only. It's probably going to be a super slow rollout and only for personal Gmails for now. All right. Speaking of new Google announcements that could impact a lot of people, Google announced and is rolling out a significant update to its Gemini AI assistant for Google TV. So the new Gemini update will first debut on TCL Google TVs, with plans to expand to more devices in the future. So the new Gemini update will offer comprehensive answers to questions, now including images and videos alongside text, making information more accessible directly from the TV screen. There's also a new deep dive feature that uses AI narration and interactive visuals to help users explore complex topics in detail, enhancing educational and research capabilities at home. Users can also control simple TV settings by voice, like, change the brightness or the color tone, right? Just by using your voice, which is pretty cool, allowing Gemini to automatically adjust screen brightness or audio levels in response to common viewing annoyances, such as dim screens or muffled dialogue. Gemini also integrates, this part's really cool, with Google Photos, enabling users to search and display personal photos and albums on their TV by using their voice, and apply AI-powered filters using the photo remix feature. The assistant can also generate images from scratch using Google's Nano Banana image model, and also create short videos with Google Veo. And you can also use Nano Banana or to remix or create new versions of your own Google Photos, which is pretty cool, right? I don't know. Imagine, chilling on the couch with your significant other, and you have this, and you can be like, where are we going to go on vacation, right? And if you have some previous Google Photos of, you and your significant other on vacation, you can use this remix feature powered by Nano Banana and be like, hey, show us on, a tropical island here, show us in Iceland chasing the northern lights, and you can see actual photos, right? Really cool what the technology is capable of, where, even like 2 years ago, we'd be like, oh, you can never do that. Yeah, you can now. All right. Our next piece of AI news, a study. Yeah, we got to use our brains here on the show. So a new report from the Microsoft AI Economy Institute reveals that generative AI is now the fastest spreading technology in history, but its benefits remain unevenly distributed around the world. This one I found extremely interesting. So Microsoft's report found that generative AI has already reached more than 1.2 billion users globally in under 3 years, with 16% of the world's population using these tools in the second half of 2025 alone. So, despite the US and China building most of the world's AI data centers and hosting 86% of the infrastructure, both countries, interestingly enough, lag in everyday workforce adoption. So the US, this one, crazy. You would think the US, in terms of global AI adoption, when it comes to the workplace adoption, would be fairly high. They are 24th with only a 28% adoption rate, which is absolutely bonkers to me, right? So the US and China account for 86% of AI infrastructure buildouts. Yet, the US is not even in the top 20 in workplace adoption. So, who is number one? That's the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, leads the world with 64% of its workforce using generative AI, followed closely by Singapore at about 61%. There's also a huge gap between high income and developing nations in growing, with adoption rates in wealthier countries averaging out at about 25% compared to only 14% in what Microsoft calls the global south, right? So they highlighted this huge disparity between the global north, right, which is US, Canada, EU, China, right, with the global south. A lot of times considered, South America, Africa, some other places. So both geographically, they found this pretty large divide between not just access to AI, but AI use. Another important finding that I thought is worth calling out, Chinese open source AI models like DeepSeek are rapidly gaining ground in specifically Africa, Russia, and Iran, offering affordable alternatives where Western platforms are less accessible. Also, while the gender gap in consumer AI use has nearly disappeared, the report found that men are still more likely than women to use AI for work tasks, highlighting ongoing workplace inequality. All right. If you do want more on that study, we're going to be sharing it in our newsletter. And this is one of those, I think, one of those studies every single year I take a look at, right? There's hundreds of AI studies out there. A lot of them aren't really good. This one is one of the best. So if you really want to have a good understanding of where global AI is trending, where it's trending in the US, where it's trending in certain sectors, what you need to be taking a look out for. This report from Microsoft every year is one of the best. All right. Speaking of the best of the best was on display at the Consumer Electronics Show. And this year, we all knew it was going to be AI, 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 shoving AI in the fridge. There's actually an AI-powered fridge that only works with your voice, right? It won't even open, right? Talk about, I don't know, to me, nightmare fuel, right? Not being able to use appliances in your house without being forced to use a voice-activated feature, right? Anyways, CES marked a major shift for AI as the focus moved from generative AI chatbots from the year past to physically interacting with the world. So I'm going to highlight here some of the bigger AI announcements from some of the bigger companies. So one of the bigger ones was LG's Cloyd, a mobile home robot with articulated arms and advanced vision language AI capable of finally folding laundry, loading the dishwasher, and fetching objects, making the zero labor home a maybe future reality. NVIDIA kind of already referenced this, but they kind of shifted their focus away, at least from an announcement point of view, from their GPUs to introducing the Rubin AI platform and Vera CPU. Also, AMD launched the Helios rack scale platform for data centers and the Ryzen AI 400 series for consumer devices. Intel debuted Panther Lake chips, the Core Ultra Series 3, focusing on power efficiency and graphics for next generation AI enabled laptops using its new 18A manufactured process. Robotics obviously stole the spotlight, as they do normally at these types of shows, with Hyundai and Boston Dynamics showcasing the Atlas Robots integration into smart digital factories. And then in the smart home rivalry, LG's robot was demoed live, while Samsung's Valley, once a leading concept, was quietly shelved, highlighting LG's lead in practical home automation. All right. There's more, y'all. I told you this week was jam-packed. All right, our next piece of AI news. Meta's outgoing chief AI scientist, Jan LeCun, says the company, quote unquote, fudged a little bit when testing its latest Llama 4 models in a new Financial Times interview. Spicy. All right. So LeCun revealed that Meta's researchers used different versions of the Llama 4 Maverick and Llama 4 Scout models on separate benchmarks instead of evaluating a single version across all tests. And this practice is not standard in AI development and may have led to artificially improved results for Llama 4 in official benchmarks. So, yeah, this was kind of reported on. So when Llama released their Llama 4 series of models, they did really, really well, like surprisingly well on all benchmarks. And everyone was like, first of all, like, wow, look at these open source models that are now leading all these benchmarks. And then a couple of days later, everyone's like, wait, is this real? Because when people were using them in practical scenarios, they're like, these models aren't doing very well. So at the time, it was kind of reported, yeah, Meta might have created a different version of Llama that was overfitted or designed to just perform very well on benchmarks. It was never confirmed. And now here you go. Jan LeCun, one of the biggest names in AI ever, coming out and saying, yeah, Meta kind of fudged on the models. So, as he starts his own startup, interestingly enough, stirring up a little controversy on the way out. So Meta's leadership has denied releasing different models, blaming performance discrepancy on variations in cloud infrastructure. So the benchmarks controversy fueled internal frustration and eroded confidence among Meta's leadership, including CEO Mark Zuckerberg, according to reports. So in June, Zuckerberg restructured Meta's AI division, creating Meta Superintelligence Labs, or MSL, and bringing in Scale AI co-founder Alexander Wang to lead the group. So Meta paid about $14 billion for a 49% stake in Scale AI. But according to LeCun, Wang was young and inexperienced in research, which for him raised concerns about Meta's future direction in AI development. Nothing like some baby llama mama drama to start the new year off right? And it's going to be really interesting to me to see how Meta responds, not just to this controversy, right? But Meta had been on a fairly, we'll say, quote unquote, normal release schedule with their llama models, but they've been silent, absolutely silent since I believe it was April or May when they announced Llama 4, and they didn't even come out with the biggest variation that they announced at the time. So essentially, Meta blew the whole thing up, and we've been seeing a lot of reports about what they're doing next, right? All these code names, the avocado and mango, and we heard that they're going to be competing directly with like Google's Nano Banana Pro and all these different things. So I'm personally very excited to see how Meta responds, not just to this controversy, not just to the now what, like 8-9 month gap in model releases, which for AI Frontier Labs is like a decade, but also there's been reports that Meta is going to potentially shift away from the open source strategy and go to proprietary models. All right, speaking of proprietary models that people may or may not use, Amazon is getting into the consumer chatbot game as they've officially launched a browser-based version of its Alexa Plus assistant. So, Amazon announced that the Alexa Plus website is now live for select users. So you can go to alexa.com, allowing them to chat with Alexa Plus directly from their browser for the first time. So the new alexa.com platform is designed only for Alexa Plus users who must join a waitlist or own newer Amazon devices to get access. So Alexa Plus is Amazon's revamped AI assistant, which first debuted in February 2024 and is still in early access mode. So with the new website, right? So Amazon may be in the long run looking to compete with ChatGPT here. Users can ask questions, explore complex topics, create content, plan trips, get homework help, all the stuff you can normally do with large language models, all within the browser chat window. So previously, Alexa Plus was only available on mobile apps or certain Echo devices, not accessible on the web. Amazon says tens of millions of users now have access to Alexa Plus, but the company is still gradually rolling out the services. And let me be honest, it's a good thing they're doing this gradually, because I'm going to say this, and maybe this is because I think Google Gemini and their Gemini Live is just so much better. Right. And I really wish that OpenAI would update the model of their advanced mode, of their previously advanced voice mode. Now it's just their voice mode, because I think when this came out, OpenAI was the best, right? Their advanced voice mode was the best, but they haven't updated the engine running it. It's still running on a version of GPT 4.0. So I don't know. At least for me personally, I hate talking with the voice mode from OpenAI. I hope they update that because it could be really good. I think Google Gemini Live is running away in the AI voice category, because if you have used Alexa Plus, right, I got access to it. It's terrible. It's terrible, right? Yes, it can provide better responses than the traditional Alexa, but reports are it's powered by Anthropic's models, which are really good. But I don't know, for whatever reason on the implementation, it's slow, it's clunky, it gets the majority of everything wrong. And some of the things that you might use Alexa for on an ongoing basis, like, I don't know, time, direction, weathers. Now there's a very annoying, sometimes 3, 4, 5 second delay, right? Asking for the time, asking for the weather, literally sometimes at 3 to 5 second delay, which is bonkers, right? So I don't know. At least for me, I'm not super bullish on Amazon competing with ChatGPT on the web. And I'm also, at least with my own personal use in the home, not super excited for Alexa Plus. I really thought it was going to be great, but for me, pretty bad. All right. That's all the big AI news stories. Now let's go into a quick bullet point version. This is funny from Douglas. Hey, Douglas said here on the live stream, Amazon announces Alexa Plus AI and the crowd goes mild. I've never heard that. That's so good. The crowd goes mild. All right. So like I said, this week, I kid you not, I always go through all the, AI news, and I do this manually because I like to use my brain and think about it. But I usually go over the top 8 to 10 news stories every week in our weekly news segment on Mondays. And usually I get a list of like 15 stories, and then I pare it down to the top 10, right? And I'm like, okay, these are the top 10 stories. These are the ones that we're going to spend time on. This week, my list was 30. I had 30 stories that I'm like, these could all be top stories. All right. So the what's new and what's next bullet points here at the end. A lot of these are pretty big, FYI. All right. So let's go through them very quickly. The what's new and what's next. So Microsoft's Copilot now supports native checkout with PayPal. Grok's AI image generator has been temporarily restricted after sexualized deepfakes. xAI raised $20 billion for Grok and their supercomputing networks. OpenAI is reportedly asking contractors to share actual work outputs and deliverables from previous jobs when they onboard with the company. That's wild. Alliance had partnered with Anthropic. OpenAI acquired Convogo, a data automation platform. Meta has postponed the global release of its Ray-Ban display smart glasses, originally planned for early 2026, because reportedly the U.S. demand was too high and it caused inventory shortages. China launched a regulatory probe into Meta's AI acquisition of Manus. Lenovo introduced Quira, I believe it's Quira, a new cross-device AI assistant at CES 2026. SimilarWeb released its first global AI tracker of 2026 that showed Gemini hit the 20% market share after being at only 5% a year ago, mainly eating into ChatGPT's share, although OpenAI's share is still technically growing. Their slice of the pie is just getting smaller, but the pie is getting exponentially larger. Boston Dynamics announced a new AI-powered version of its Atlas humanoid that's way more flexible and way stronger. Leaks show that OpenAI is developing a new AI agent focused on careers called Jobs. Google launched Flight Deal, where Gemini will find you flight deals based on a prompt. Reports show that Claude's upcoming task mode will include integrations with Calendar, Slack, Salesforce, Asana, and more. We've seen this report from Testing Catalog a couple of times that Claude is working on kind of a task or an agent mode in their front end chatbot. All right, XAI is going to soon introduce Grok Build, a vibe coding platform. GPT-2 Codex Max may be slowly rolling out, according to leaks. Benchmarking site LM Arena raised $150 million. And last but not least, Anthropic is reportedly raising another $10 million. My gosh, there was so much impactful and important AI news this week. I know this one was a little longer, but that's just the reality. If you want to keep up, sometimes you might got to sit through 44 minutes of AI news and a little bit of my needless banter. So thanks for putting up with that as well. So if this was helpful, please repost this, tell someone about it, right? We can only keep doing this everyday AI thing if you're out there telling people about it. So please do that. If you're listening on the podcast, please subscribe to the show, leave us a rating. We'd really appreciate that. And like I said, if you want access to the inner circle, I was actually blown away with how many people joined over the weekend when we started letting a couple groups in. So it's info in today's newsletter. So make sure you go check that out. The inner circle, great way to network with other people, have conversations, learn new things, and take our free updated prime prompt polish course on your own pace. All right. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for the free daily newsletter. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you back tomorrow and every day for more everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.